Do you guys remember that movie, Don't Look Up? It came out a few years ago. It had Leonardo DiCaprio. And essentially it was about the asteroid that they identified was like coming and it was going to hit us and we were all going to die. And everyone just started arguing and like not taking them seriously. Feel like I just read that study. So when I post this, it will be the beginning of the fifth session of the Global Plastics Treaty, which is amazing. It's going to be held in Geneva. A lot of progress has been made, but there's been a lot of stalls in the talks. This study was just published in the Lancet. It's really nuts what they say. It's the asteroid. That's what they describe, the asteroid. Plastics are a grave and growing and under-recognized danger to human and planetary health. Plastics cause disease and death from infancy to old age and are responsible for health-related economic losses exceeding $1.5 trillion every year. Infants and young children are highly susceptible to plastics-associated harms. Early life exposure to plastics and plastic chemicals are linked to increased risks of miscarriage, prematurity, stillbirth, low birth weight, and birth defects of the reproductive organs, neurodevelopmental impairment, impaired lung growth, and childhood cancer. Early life exposure to plastic chemicals can contribute to reduced human fertility and increased risk of non-communicable diseases such as cancer, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. Plastic is expensive and it is responsible for health-related economic losses that include healthcare costs, such as the costs of physician services, hospitalizations, and medications, and productivity losses, right? In 2015, the health-related costs of plastic production amounted to almost $600 billion globally, more than the gross domestic product of New Zealand or Finland. I love this graphic, okay? And the reason that I want to show you this graphic is these are all the stages of plastic production, all right? Fossil extraction, because everything comes from oil, right? Plastic production, product manufacturing, and then consumer use. So when you go down from consumer use, you have direct population exposure to both the microplastics as well as all the chemicals that come out of those microplastics, right? This is what I think is really important because this is not something I've ever seen just put all together and all the ways that plastic is bad for us. As you can see, look at this: endocrine and metabolic disorders, obesity, diabetes, mental health. Straight up, they say it. Like, I've done videos on that, but like the fact that they're saying it here, it impacts your mental health. So your mental health is not so good. Neurological diseases, developmental disorders, respiratory disease, cardiovascular disease, immunological disease, cancers, and reproductive health. Crazy. The world is in a plastics crisis. This crisis has worsened alongside other planetary threats of our time and is contributing to climate change, pollution, and biodiversity loss. Long unseen and unaddressed, the magnitude of the plastics crisis is now widely recognized, and its implications for both human and planetary health are increasingly clear. There's an estimated 8,000 megatons of plastic waste that now pollute our environment. Global plastic output is on track to nearly triple by 2060. Despite decades of effort, less than 10% of plastics are recycled. As a consequence, at least 80% of all plastic ever made is still present in the environment. For most of that, it's in the ocean. Continued worsening of plastics-associated harms is not inevitable. Similar to ambivalent air pollution, lead, mercury, climate change, chlorofluorhydrocarbons, CFCs, which got banned, plastics' harms can be successfully and cost-effectively mitigated with evidence-based laws. These interventions have proven highly cost-effective. For example, each dollar invested in air pollution control in the U.S. since 1970 is estimated to have yielded an economic benefit of $30 by reducing healthcare costs and increasing the economic productivity of a healthier, longer-lived population. In the U.S., lead removal is estimated to have added $200 billion to the economy in each annual birth cohort since 1980, aggregate benefit of more than $8 trillion over the past 4 decades.